Hello friends, welcome to Midlife. Today we will be studying about the anatomy of stomach. So the stomach is also called as gaster or venter. It is a muscular bag forming the widest and most distensible part of the digestive tube, which is connected above to the lower end of the esophagus and below to the duodenum. It acts as a reservoir of food and helps in digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. It lies obliquely in the upper and left part of the abdomen, occupying the epigastric, umbilical and left hypochondriac regions. Most of it lies under cover of the left costal margin and ribs. The stomach is generally J-shaped, and the shape of the stomach can be studied in the living by radiographic examination after giving a barium meal. So here in the figure we can see the anterior relations of the stomach. So the first area of stomach is covered by liver, second area by diaphragm and third area by anterior abdominal wall. So now let's come to the external features of the stomach. So the stomach has two orifices or openings, two curvatures or borders, two surfaces and two parts. Now we will study about the external features of stomach in detail. So stomach has two orifices, that is the cardiac orifice and pyloric orifice. Cardiac orifice, it is joined by the lower end of the esophagus and it lies behind the left 7th costal cartilage 2.5 cm from its junction with the sternum at the level of vertebrae T11. The pyloric orifice opens into the duodenum in an empty stomach and in the supine position. It lies to 1.2 cm to the right of the median plane at the level of lower border of vertebrae L1 or transpyloric plane. Its position is indicated by a circular groove and by the pre-pyloric vein of Mayo. Stomach has two curvatures, that is lesser and greater curvature. Lesser curvature is concave and forms the right border of the stomach. It provides attachment to the lesser omentum. The most dependent part of the curvature is marked by angular notch or incisura angularis. The greater curvature is convex and forms the left border of the stomach. The greater curvature provides attachment to the greater omentum and gastrosplenic ligament and the gastrophrenic ligament. At its upper end, the greater curvature presents the cardiac notch, which separates it from the esophagus, and it is 5 times longer than the lesser curvature. Stomach has two surfaces, anterior or anterosuperior, which faces forwards and upwards, and next one is posterior or posterior inferior surface, that is it faces backwards and downwards. Stomach has two parts, that is cardiac and pyloric part. The cardiac is further divided into fundus and body, whereas the pyloric part is further divided into the pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. Let's see about the cardiac part. So number one is fundus. It is upper convex dome-shaped part. It is commonly distended with gas, which is seen clearly in radiographic examination under the left dome of the diaphragm. The body lies between fundus and the pyloric antrum. The gastric glands is distributed in the fundus and body of the stomach, contain all three types of secretory cells, that is the mucus cell, chief peptic or zymogenic cell, which secrete digestive enzymes, and parietal or oxyntic cell, which secrete HCl. So now let's see about the pyloric part. It is subdivided into the pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. The pyloric antrum is separated by pyloric canal by a sulcus intermedius present on greater curvature, which is 7.5 cm long. The pyloric glands are rich in mucus cells. Pyloric canal is 2.5 cm long, narrow and tubular. At its right end, it terminates at the pylorus. Now we will see about the relations of stomach. So, we have to study about the peritoneal and visceral relations of the stomach. First, let's see peritoneal relations. So, the stomach is lined by peritoneum on both of its surfaces. At lesser curvature, the layers of peritoneum lining the anterior and posterior surfaces meet and become continuous with the lesser omentum. And at the greater curvature, two layers meet to form the greater omentum along the greater part. Near fundus, two layers meet to form gastrosplenic ligament, and near the cardiac end, peritoneum, which is on the posterior surface, is reflected onto the diaphragm as gastrophrenic ligament. Now we will study about the bare area of the stomach. So basically bare area means exposed part, that is part of the stomach which is not covered by the peritoneum. So cranial to the gastrophrenic ligament, small part on posterior surface is in direct contact with the left crus of the diaphragm, and this area is known as bare area of the stomach. And the greater and lesser curvatures along the peritoneal reflections are also bare. Now we will study about the visceral relations of the stomach. So anteriorly, the stomach is related to the liver, diaphragm and anterior abdominal wall. The diaphragm separates stomach from the left pleura, pericardium and 6th to 9th ribs. And the transversus abdominis separates stomach from the costal cartilage. And gastric nerves and vessels ramify deep to peritoneum. Now let's see about trough space. So what is trough space? It is the space between left costal margin and lower edge of left lung on stomach. On percussion, there is a resonant note over this space, but in splenomegaly or pleural effusion, a dull note is felt. So here we can see the trough space, this area. Let's talk about stomach bed. It is the posterior surface of the stomach which is related to the structures forming a stomach bed, which are separated from stomach by the cavity of lesser sac. So I have made one mnemonic which is easy for myself. No need to copy this mnemonic, so you can make any kind of mnemonic which is best for you. So here we go. From D it is diaphragm, from L it is left kidney, from another L it is left suprarenal gland, from P it is pancreas, from T it is transverse mesocolon, from S it is splenic flexor of the colon, and from other X it is splenic artery. Sometimes spleen is also included in the stomach bed, but it is separated from the stomach by the cavity of greater sac, not lesser sac. Now we will talk about the blood supply of stomach. We can remember by using a small technique that lesser curvature is supplied by gastric artery and greater curvature by epiploic artery. So the lesser curvature is supplied by left and right gastric artery. Left gastric artery is the branch of celiac trunk and right gastric artery is the branch of proper hepatic artery. Now here, as we know that the greater curvature is supplied by epiploic artery, that is right and left gastroepiploic artery. So the right gastroepiploic artery is the branch of gastroduodenal artery and left gastroepiploic artery is the branch of splenic artery. And the fundus is supplied by 5 to 7 short gastric arteries, which is the branch of splenic artery. Now let's talk about veins. So the right and left gastric veins drain into portal vein. Right gastroepiploic vein ends in superior mesenteric vein, and left gastroepiploic and short gastric veins terminate in splenic vein. Now we will see figures of stomach bed and blood supply of stomach and try to understand more easily from that video. So in this figure we can see the stomach bed, that is the structures forming the stomach bed. We can remember the structures of stomach bed by using the mnemonics such as DL square PT S square. So from D it is diaphragm, from L it is left kidney, from other L it is left suprarenal gland, from P it is pancreas, from T it is transverse mesocolon, from S it is splenic flexor of the colon, and from other S it is splenic artery. And as we know that sometimes spleen is also included in the stomach bed, but it is separated from the stomach by the cavity of greater sac, and all other structures except spleen were separated from the stomach by the cavity of lesser sac. Now we will study the arteries supplying the stomach from this figure. So here we can see the small rounded one is celiac trunk. This is the main trunk from which all the arteries supplying the stomach arises. It has 3 branches, that is left gastric artery, second one is splenic artery which is the largest one, and third one is common hepatic artery. So we have studied that the lesser curvature of the stomach is supplied by left gastric artery which is the branch of celiac trunk, and right gastric artery which is the branch of proper hepatic artery, and greater curvature of the stomach is supplied by left and right gastroepiploic artery. The left gastroepiploic artery is supplied by left gastroepiploic artery is the branch of splenic artery, and the right gastroepiploic artery is the branch of gastroduodenal artery. This is the common hepatic artery which is the third branch of the celiac trunk, and fundus part of the stomach is supplied by 5 to 7 short branches, that is short gastric arteries which is the branch of splenic artery, and from gastroduodenal artery arises another branch which is known as superior pancreaticoduodenal artery. So here we finished about the arterial supply of the stomach. In this video we will end in this point. In next video we will talk about other part, that is lymphatic drainage, nerve supply, and other part related to the stomach topic. So here we finished about the topic of stomach, that is first part of the stomach. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos on anatomy, and please drop your views or questions regarding this topic in the comment section. Thank you.